I'm Michelle Morris. I am the Capo for the Women's Cove. Yeah, I think Sydney's become one of the most successful clubs in Australia because not only is it that we can perform on the pitch, but we perform off the pitch as well. I think there's a really good club culture, which translates to playing well on the field. And I think there's a very much, we're the biggest city, we're the best city, so we need to be performing and representing our city in the best way. So I think the club's really made sure to sign the best players that we can and to really instill that sort of value of the club of being the best and, that we're here to strive for success. I mean, I think it's kind of crazy how, much the game has grown just in general. But I think when we look at Sydney FC, I think we started playing with a lot of really experienced players, and now when we look at our squad, they're quite young, and I think that is only going to help us as we go along in the years. Yeah, I think when we look back at 2019, for example, that was a big year, I think, for what the A-League Women's was at the time. We had Caitlin Ford and Alana Kennedy on the squad. Even Sofia Huerta at the time, and now she's playing, in the States and playing for the US women's team. But, you look ahead a few years and we've got all these players who, have kind of broken out and have become household names. I think with that Matilda's exodus is what people were calling it at the time, like it felt like there was a lull in the league, and I think people were worried about the state of the league. But I think after the 2023 Women's World Cup, it really, brought back this love for the women's game and a love for the local league. And I think, it's really cool to see that some of these players who maybe weren't as well known in 2019, but they're definitely known now in 2025. And so I think what the club had done was, one, trust the players for more than anything, and trust the coach. Everyone trusted Ante that he was going to be able to deliver, and he did deliver. Yeah, to make 7 grand finals in a row is, I don't know, it's kind of unthinkable because there are so many teams that would just hope to make a grand final. We've got so many teams in this league that have never been to the grand final. So for us to be in 7 of them consecutively is a huge achievement, and to come away with wins in them as well is even better. So yeah, I think it's very telling of the culture that we have at Sydney to strive for success. I guess being part of the Cove is very special. I think being part of any active support is going to be special. For me, it was very much a sense of finally feeling like I found a place that I belong, and finally, feeling like I have found, another family. And, we might rag on each other every now and then, as every family does, but it's been a very good sort of journey for me, and to be so accepted in there has been, just a really positive experience for myself. To be honest, I just started going to the games by myself because I had other friends who just kind of weren't keen on going every single week, and I had found that passion and I didn't want to stop. So I kept going. I started making little videos in the Cove before someone messaged me and was like, do you want to actually do this for us? And I was like, yeah, keen to help out where I can. And before I knew it, I was standing front row in the Cove and just there every single week and going to away games all the time. Yeah, I think, the things I love about the Cove is sort of everything. It's, you're there, you're singing for 90 minutes, you don't stop. And for me, like, I only sing louder if we, concede or we, start losing or whatever. Like, that's when you got to sing louder and be more passionate. And I love that. Like, I love, just losing my voice every single week. But I love, the friends that I've made in there. Like I said, that it's a family in there, and I think that sort of aspect was so important for me. Yeah, I think years ago, some guys from the Cove, they would go to some of the women's games every now and then, and they would, make some noise, and it wasn't every week, but certain games they would go, and it kind of died off every now and then. And I remember just thinking like, oh, this is so frustrating. Like, if we support the men's team, we should be supporting the women's team. And I wanted to go all the time. At the time, I didn't really have close friends within the Cove to kind of force them to come with me. And it wasn't until a few years ago that I really pushed for it and pushed for people to come. And yeah, I guess people were keen to join, and now we've got a small but dedicated group that show up every week for the women's games, and I think that's the most important thing. And now it's about growing the numbers at the women's games and creating a legacy within that, but at women's games. I think that the impact is it's noticeable. I don't want to sound like we're the reason why they score or they're winning games, but I think it adds to the atmosphere, and I think it's part of the reason why people like going to Leichhardt, to enjoy the atmosphere. I think one of the things that makes our sport so special and what stands out against the other codes is that we have people who bang on the drums and who are singing for 90 minutes, and I think that's so enjoyable. And I would hope that for the players that they see it as encouragement, they see it as a 12th man, the supporters are there behind them through thick and thin. And I think that is important, and I think it can only help grow the game as well.